all eventually
the sleepy kinds
drift into unconsciousness. Finally relieved that none of you have to take watch. None of you are forced to keep a lookout. Your guard is allowed to be dropped. And that constant tension that you feel in your core when sleeping on the ground outside,
especially after being bound and intact.
There's warmth. There's a natural warmth coming from the floorboards, from the kitchens, from the tavern below, from the lanterns, heat rising up from the floors and the joists. There's a warmth from underneath of the covers. And all of you is covered. Every single bit. Your ankles, when you go to pull the blankets up, your ankles don't become uncovered.
Oh, it's so nice.
Your head is resting not on a root, but on something soft. And although both of you do have to share a bed, there's something reassuring about feeling that close warmth of someone you trust. Zoom might have forgotten to take off his armor before he went to bed. He was so tired.
I should just take it off for him. Okay.
We just unclothe them while he's sleeping.
Just let me
You don't need these
for
pesky
you.
clothes.
You do take the top, cover it before you go to bed, and pull it over. Figure if he wakes up, he wakes up and he handles it from there. And eventually the candle snuffed out. And you all go to unconsciousness. You are in this blank space before you inhale. There's a familiar smell to the air. There's a stillness. There's a quiet. As you open your eyes and look up at the midnight blue sky smeared with hundreds and thousands of stars, the break between earth and sky, indistinguishable. You see the familiar mountain range. You see the familiar trees. You see that motionless body of water. You also see someone familiar as both of you open your eyes and you sit up.
Is the moon there?
And the moon is there. There's one singular moon, full, just showering the silvery light around you. As both of you open your eyes and look over at one another.
This is my dream. What are you doing here?
I don't know. I've come here before and you were here. I've only come here one other time. Not on purpose.
This was my safe place. I'm kidding.
This is where you normally come?
Yeah.
That's lovely.
I've been coming here since I was little? Younger? Like 14? I consider that younger, I guess. Little. I'll say I was younger.
14.
Since I was younger.
Since you were about 14?
Yeah.
Oh. See, I came here a couple nights ago to train with my person.
A little Sparky in my head goes, I wonder if she has anything to do with the new person roaming around, but they don't say anything. Because I don't know. Well, that's interesting. I look over to see if Malik or Bay's around.
Make a perception check.
Okay.
Who are you looking for? Or what are you looking for?
Oh, you're gonna ask me that?
What are
It's
you
leaning.
looking for?
That's leaning, right?
Yes. This is exciting.
23.
23?
Mm-hmm.
You glance about, a little bit concerned, thinking, okay, Nora's here. New experience. And you look across the water and you do see a pair of silvery blue eyes, with flames looking around the side. Across the water to your left.
And then I kind of like point over and I'm like, that's who I'd like to see.
Nora, you don't see anything.
Oh! Awkward!
I don't see anything.
Oh.
Do you need to go?
Kinda. I don't know if you can come with me. You might not, if you can't see him now,
I'll stay here.
don't know if you'll be able to see him over there. You can come if you want.
It's alright, I'll stay here. This may be a private one.
Okay. And I get up and I leave.
You walk over,
I watch.
around the side. And you see his eyes. He's flaming as he watches you walk by. Looks to you. He looks across the water. You can sense there's a little bit of an amusement to watching you interact with your cousin in this moment. As he looks back down to you.
That's nice.
I'm just gonna kind of look up at him, like, kind of quizzical. I'm like, what is she doing here? And why can't she see you?
I can be seen when I want to be seen. And that is hardly a challenge. And she has work of her own to attend to. We had a discussion, and it might be beneficial for you to train with one another in this place.
Who is she here to see?
And you see the wolf grin curl across his face, his pearly white teeth illuminated as he is mostly cast in shadow, almost giving you this almost eerie feeling, but you know it's done in amusement.
Doesn't say anything. Okay.
And looks. When she's ready, she may introduce you as you may introduce her to me. To all of them. Kind of looks to the moon, bows his head, and you hear a nearby.
I really don't want to get embarrassed in front of my cousin like this.
I don't hear anything, do I?
No,
No.
You just see her looking around, then you see her blush, shiver a little.
My.
Which way is it coming from?
Directly to your left. You see Bay
You know,
looking back up at you.
And I'm like, it's nice to see you again.
I can read lips.
My back is facing you!
Her back is facing you.
Okay,
Her back is facing
I thought she was to the side. Okay.
Yeah, her
You
back is
saw
facing Yeah.
Bam!
Her back is facing you, so
Okay.
you would be
I
able
was-
to read lips.
I wasn't gonna do it anyway, but I'd say while she's doing that, I find a tree and I lean back and start my thing. But you do your thing.
Okay.
You hear, oh yes, I love sharing the space with so many others, especially when now you have so many people to choose from when it comes to training. So please, let us know who you intend to have bestow their wisdom upon you.
I missed you,
She
babe.
prances by Malik in the sassy, as sassy as she can.
And I say in like almost completely sincere voice, I missed you, baby.
She kind of looks over. Of course you have. She goes over to the other side of Malik, and now they're both sitting there. And she looks over and she's like, I bet she would be fun to train with. Looking at the cousin. Looking at Nora, and she looks back to you and is like, you're probably definitely more fun to, shock.
Thank you.
She looks. Well, come. Who are you going to train with? Malik sits and you can feel his breath over the area and brush by your face, as well as ruffle her fur. He's like, she's made her choice. And looks over to you.
So technically I can pick from all three of them today? So Malik said that I could. So he said that it would be beneficial for me and her to train together. So, DM. So technically, is Bay the one that's kind of helping me with my Azamar stuff? Like, technically, I guess.
Any of them could, technically.
Okay.
I mean, she's the one who's been most invested because Malik has had his eyes turned elsewhere. There have been matters that have required his attention, and he hasn't been able to stay by your side constantly.
Okay.
But he's kind of, Baze seems to be not working under his orders, but per his suggestion, that has been what she has been doing.
I'm gonna turn to Bay, and I'm gonna be like, I want to work. And I kind of like grit a little bit on my focus. And then oh god. And I turn to Malik and I say, you said it would be beneficial to work with my cousin.
Nods.
Can we do that tonight?
That is up to him. His eyes glance across the water.
Just for there! I didn't know he was here.
We'll get to you in a second.
Sorry,
He looks back and he's like, perhaps that is another conversation between the two of you. And he gets up and gives a nod. It seems as though you've made your choice.
Oh my heart! I can't! But I need to get these fucking wings
There's
now!
a little bit of bittersweetness to his voice.
It's not
You
my
see.
choice.
You can see him kind of sigh and gives a nod. Starts to turn and starts going into the shadow. His tail swishes. Swishes behind him as his form eventually. He stops for a moment. And then fades into shadow.
My heart electrocutes itself and I die. I don't even need Bay. It electrocutes itself. Alright! Here we go. I look over.
Put on your best face. Come along. She turns and begins heading into a different direction, leaving the area behind. You're headed somewhere new.
Okay.
Towards the mountains.
Keep up.
Nora, you watch your cousin disappear into the woods as you hear coming from behind this very familiar voice. That was quite an interesting interaction, don't you think?
Yes, it was. She seemed afraid. Is she gonna be alright?
He leans against the tree directly to your left and glances across the water. She'll be alright as long as she keeps her wits about her, manages to focus. Now, it's time for us to focus. And he holds his hand out, left hand for you to take.
I take it. Seeing the ring on his finger,
So you see the ring on his finger.
I take it.
And he takes your hand and he lifts you up. And almost in that moment, your arm caught in his as he looks directly into your eyes. Hand lowers.
Oh my god. I'm revived.
Okay. Oh my god, it's perfect. It's perfect.
You don't know that.
And he starts stepping backwards into the woods. And guides you.
Oh, I followed into the woods.
He walks only a couple steps backwards before he turns and offers his arm for you.
I think
He leads you into the woods.
I dismissed my beautiful.
He said you dismissed your beautiful.
There are ways to do certain stuff and things. All you have to do is get a little bit outside the box.
What
But
do
you know,
mean?
you get to think about that on your own time. We're working on Nora right now. He leads you into the woods and finds a place where he once again touches a tree and all of them break and fold and weave into a massive mat. He steps onto it, waits for you to step onto it as well, and guides you on.
I'm afraid I haven't.
And takes off that same black cloak. With a quick toss, it seems to catch in midair and is suspended.
I'm afraid I haven't trained much since our last session.
You've been rather busy. I can't say I blame you. That was a very bold move, standing up to your cousin. And looks...
You stand up to me.
There was a moment where she had a very specific desire. And you stood up and told her no.
Oh, and I was gonna, like, smack that one dude. Or something. I can't remember. Oh, I was gonna, like, snatch them or something, like, run away.
Mm.
And then you, like, because I, like, started to lean forward and you were like, no, let them work it out. And I was like,
Oh,
okay,
oh, gosh.
restrained.
Thank you.
These notes.
Mm-hmm. He looks... Mm. I'll get to you in a second. I'll get to you in a moment.
Yes, well, her heart's always in the right place.
Yes, it is, but your measurement and your control of yourself certainly a added benefit. You know how to measure, but sometimes you need to let go, let loose. And he's kind of pacing around you, and he, at that moment, he kind of turns and kind of faces you, and he's looking kind of down into you. And he's like, "You're very reserved when it comes to things that matter. You're measured, calculating." And his hand kind of reaches up and tucks a strand of hair behind your ear and says, "You need to. Sometimes it's harder to be measured. Sometimes it's easier to let go. And sometimes it's better to let go. That is what we should work on today." And he guides you to the center of the mat. He sits down.
Letting go.
And he's like, "You today managed to, in part, embody what you wanted to be. You wanted to be that place where people could go, but you also were that source of strength. Your friend needed that today." And his lips kind of tug into a little bit of a smile. And he's like, he needed to find that courage in himself. And you, stepping back and allowing that to happen, has now given him, thanks for saying, a very pleasant evening.
No noises! Nothing shall I bring up! Except the electrocution to my heart!
I hear screams in the background like,
Ignore him. Ignore her.
she's fine. Okay. So, how do you propose I relinquish my wild side, as you say?
Relinquish your wild side. I do believe you mean release your wild side, darling.
Yes, I did mean that.
His palms open as he sits. Back straight.
I mimic mirror.
Okay.
Man, this
Concentrate
is
on what
hard.
you felt in those moments.
Sorry, Jasper, I spilled my tea.
Don't spill the tea.
Somebody gave me some tea and I spilled it. Okay. Focus. My notes.
Focus on what you felt. Focus on the things you know about yourself and what you want to become.
Okay. I know about myself.
I'm not going to try and lead you into it. This must be done on your own. I'm not always going to be there to help. Focus. Concentrate.
Okay.
Think about how that made you feel. Think about what else you want to embody. Think about what you will do and will it to happen.
Okay. Close my eyes.
You feel his fingertips brush against yours.
Yes. Okay.
He's looking better, by the way. Less bandaged. A little healthier.
Makes me very
A little less pale.
Makes me very happy. Okay. Okay, so what do I know about myself? Well, I know that I am reserved and often leave things up to others. I let them have room for them to grow, but sometimes that's too much room. Sometimes they need extra attention and guidance. Let's see. Like, when did that happen? Not with Adria, because she was. Said that she would come.
As you're thinking, as you're meditating on these things.
Mm-hmm.
Talavin.
Oh, fuck. Come on, kids. I was taking notes, damn it.
Sorry, I was thinking.
I was thinking about all the good shit I was going to say.
Maybe you're gonna get some. You're gonna get your questions.
Do you both need a moment to contemplate
Nope.
as you're meditating? Alright then.
It do what it do. I usually make a fool of myself either way.
You usually do a really good job.
You walk further and further, and eventually they touches a tree and it breaks and begins unfolding. The others also bend, fold, crack, and weave together an area lit by moonlight. She steps onto the mat, turns around, sits. Well, you wanted me to help you with whatever it is you want help with. You said you wanted to work on your focus.
Yes.
Are we
I
talking
do.
about your aim, or are we talking about internal focus?
My internal focus.
Oh, good, you had a proper answer for me. Right out of the gate, too. Come along. Take your stance, meditate, whatever it is that helps you. You don't seem to do well as well whenever you sit, I noticed.
Okay, then I'll say something. Okay, I'm going to focus on. That's not the right page. This one is though. So I think it was one of the first times I met Faye. She asked me, what does protection look like? And tonight, I'm going to focus on how hard Talel fought to, like, I guess in my mind, like, to protect his love for Jen and how much he wanted her, like, I guess to, like, be happy and just, like, how he seemed to be that, like, safe place for her. And how, like, I want to embody that and, like, that's what I want to be for people.
Oh, you keep writing that line. Just write it as the day is long. What specifically are you reflecting on? Is it his actions or what you want to be?
His actions.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oof, thank God. What was the other option?
Charisma.
Okay, thank God. Not good enough. This is definitely leaning, so I'm going to not have that right there. So it's gonna be flat. So that's going to be a 9.
9. You start focusing on that, and then you think of how hurt he was, and how in those few moments you worried for his safety. And you think about that protection, and you start focusing in on that, and kind of taking that stance. You step forward into it, and as you're focusing, you're concentrating. You also think of the relief in his eyes, and the absolute joy, and that shared experience, that shared bond between him and Jin. And you're just, your senses are just completely overwhelmed in that moment of those feelings. You're like,
Don't
come along. I said focus.
I don't open my eyes. I'm not scared. Okay,
You lean into it, you begin focusing, you begin concentrating. What do you
so then I'm going to start thinking of. So another one of her questions was, who do you think of when you think of, like, protecting someone? And I'm going to think of, like, Nora and that feeling of that I did want to protect Talel. And then I think of, like, Zoom and how, like, just like how I want, okay, so I'm going to do that one next. And just how, like, above even myself, I want to protect them.
Started leaning, but you make another wisdom saving throw.
God, you serious? Another 9. I'm not gonna make it again tonight.
You're trying to gain purchase. You're trying to focus. There's so many emotions, so many things going on simultaneously. You are trying to harness a little bit from each individual part and combining them all into one area. And you're just having a hard time focusing on so many things all at once and pulling them in and using that as your focal point.
Okay. Thinking of the ones I want to protect, I'm going to think of... So usually I think of my brother and how he protected me and my twin. But today a new image comes into my head when I think of how Zune pushed me out of the way when the crocodile was coming towards us and like took the first shot, and like how like in a way like he protected me. I mean, crocodile wasn't close, but like that just like sense of like safety that I felt when he like pushed me out of the way to like protect me.
Okay. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Look here. I'm fucking buying new dice.
You already told me you would.
It's a little better. 12.
12. You start feeling that initial flicker in your chest, like a small flame. It begins warming your core.
Can I get a DM question real quick?
Sure.
Just because sometimes I have, like, I get like Constitution, Strength, Wisdom, and Charisma,
Yes.
Dexterity, and Intelligence. Like, what would that just?
Intelligence.
Because I'm trying to like, my answers seem to be like the same thing every time.
Dexterity is your flexibility, your physical flexibility.
So I can't really do anything there. What about Intelligence?
Intelligence is logicking your way out of something. You have to think along a very specific line of, oh, this is this because of this. This is this. Essentially, syllogism, where you go through and say, okay, this connects here, this connects here, this connects here, and therefore this should be the final answer. You're not getting your emotions, you're not trying to gain insight, you're not trying to perceive anything, you're not trying to become something else, you are looking simply at the facts. And in those moments, trying to pull in those facts, trying to pull in those moments that are not emotional. The emotional side is whenever you're looking inward, you're kind of third person looking inward on yourself. That's the difference between them.
God, I'm gonna have a really hard time getting an Intelligence one. Didn't you get an Intelligence one once?
All intelligence.
What are your answers?
Based on it.
Fuck. I'm gonna start paying more attention when Kenzie talks in her dreams.
You don't
Okay.
pay attention to my dreams?
I do, but usually I'm focusing on what Madison has to say about Jasper, so I'm sorry.
No, I don't blame you.
I hope you have something ready.
I'm thinking notes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So then I'm going to start. Okay. Okay, let's see if this is
I
intelligence.
thought you wanted to focus.
Okay, I'm gonna see if this. I can get this one.
Your mind is scattered.
I'm gonna think about how. Oh shit! It left me. Fuck. Okay, let me see. What do you want? Who do you want to protect yourself?
I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, because I'm not. Now, you stupid. What? This stupid fucking dice. A dexterity saving throw?
Dexterity saving throw.
I can't count.
What are the numbers?
23.
23. As you hear this initial shock, you know it's coming, and you leap and you tumble out of the way as this burst of lightning energy just surges through you. You take 3 points of electric lightning damage.
I feel like this is a therapy session. Like, for both of us.
Yeah, this is like all my rage getting shocked out of me.
Because my real life person is reserved, and your real life person is very, like, action based. Like, wow!
Yikes.
I think Madison's just giving us therapy.
What do you think D&D is? It's
Okay.
therapy time. Like, you are focusing on too many things. Your mind is drawn in too many places. Focus on one particular instance. One person, one moment, one thing, one thought. Allow that to drive you. I thought you had a mantra or so. We talked about this. Come along, Talavin.
Oh, I don't like your tutor.
She's awesome. What are you talking about? I love her. She is very
I love her.
nice.
Make a deception check.
19.
Natural 20.
Damn it!
You are lying through your teeth. You just.
I was not!
Are you being honest?
I love her.
Are you actually being honest?
Yeah. I love electricity.
Sure you do.
It's very motivating, so I think it's actually good for my character.
You feel the energy surge through your body. The wind, and it's partially knocked out of you. You were partially braced for it, but you almost hear her voice saying, if you were able to dodge, you should be able to focus. If you're focusing on waiting to dodge, you're not focusing.
Okay, well I guess I'm going to repeat my mantra then. I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna see, the faces of my friends, and I'm just gonna be like, I'm not alone. They are with me, and I will not fail them. I'm gonna say it out loud. I'm gonna focus on it a whole lot, and pray that my dice are with me.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
17.
You begin feeling that energy pulse through your body. That initial flame, which you thought was going to extinguish, begins spreading that warmth throughout your entire body. You feel it dripping down like hot wax, just dripping through every part of you.
Shit, okay, so I'm just gonna repeat part of it again. I'm not alone. And I'm gonna think of Zoom and Talel and Nora.
Make an intelligence saving throw.
Yes! Fuck you. 14.
14. The energy does maintain. It's having a hard time coalescing where you need it to.
Okay, this time I'm going to say, I will not fail them. And I'm going to think of how, even against the odds, I did save Talel when he needed me to.
Okay, because you're using that as your focal point, that is another intelligence saving throw. Because instead of willing yourself to do something, you actually used logic and did this thing. What is it?
24. It's not a 20. It's not a 20, but it's a 19, so 24.
In that moment, I thought that lightning was actually going to come smite you with another one.
Yeah, no, if it did, I would get online immediately and buy a new set of dice. You are safe for now.
You are
24.
You're focusing, and that moment you cling to that one particular moment, and you think, "I did this." There's no disputing that fact. That you did save him. You were able to protect him, despite all odds. And believe me, that was against a lot of odds.
It was very low on hit points that night. I did it.
And you begin focusing and like a sponge just soaking it up, your spine just, you feel the energy in that moment just surge through your entire being. Every nerve, every fiber, you're right at that
I'm
cusp.
right there. Shit.
You're right at that cusp. As you feel it almost poking through your back, you are right there at that breaking point. And in that moment,
Okay, the last part. They're with me. And I'm going to think about how I've been traveling with them. No, hold on. Let me. Specific part. I got to think of something very specific. Okay, I'm going to think of that same night and how right when kind of everything was turning for the worst, Nora was there. She was able to break free from her bonds. And she was there for me to help.
you're writing so many lines. What specifically are you focusing on? Are you focusing on?
I'm just thinking of, like, in that moment.
That they're with me? Is that
Yes.
that
Like, that's what I'm thinking of. But, like,
So
I specifically
the
see
phrase is they are with
Nora.
me. And you see Nora breaking free and you see
her bonds.
her
Yes.
wings coming out. Okay, that is an intelligence saving throw.
I can do it.
Come on.
I believe in you.
You take that moment, you're concentrating, you're focusing, you're watching as her own ethereal
22.
wings
Nice.
emerge. And as you, almost in slow motion, watch her entire body lurch back, her eyes bursting with this radiant energy, and you saw her wings emerge from her back, you suddenly also feel you feel that energy coalesce and off to either side.
I think every time you do this, it lowers the DC. That's easy.
I hope so.
That's why we keep practicing.
Okay, keep her every night. Everything.
The stormy colored wings
Oh, you're so
fading
cool.
into white. You see the electricity arcs through almost each feather as you look, almost a storm cloud in its own right. As you reach out and you stroke them, you can feel the nerves, the invisible nerves that were never there but yet always were. So you stroke out. And you feel them, and you rotate your shoulders and instantly they curl in and roll with you. And well, it took you long enough. See what happens when you're torn in so many different directions. It definitely helps you focus.
I'm just gonna kind of be like,
That's what you get for multitasking. That's what you get for being torn in too many directions.
and I'm just gonna kind of look at her and be like, thank you.
About time I've had some gratitude. Now come along. And she shoots up into the sky.
And I kind of like bend my knees and I just leap forward.
Make a strength check.
Oh, come on. A strength strafing throw?
No, just check.
Just
Just a check. This is just a check.
16.
You take off running and you leap 5 feet in the air before your wings.
Nice.
And you kind of catch some kind of drift and you use your feet and you clip onto one of the edges of a tree and you arch your back and backflip before catching yourself again and soaring into the air. Higher. Higher. You watch her energy almost like pinball just bouncing from star to star to star to star, arcing.
And I'm just
above you,
chasing
around
after
you.
her. Like, just getting used to, like, that turning and, like, going, like, you know, from, like, one direction to the next quickly. Like, trying to get used to, like, this feeling.
Make a perception check.
Perception check.
Perception.
Now you do this. Let's see. 25.
25. As you are going over one of the mountain ranges, you swear you see, as you glance down, a pair of silvery blue flaming eyes staring up at you from the ground.
Do they look happy?
They do, and it's weird.
What do you mean it's weird, though?
They don't look...
They look like wolf-like!
No.
I go down immediately and attack him!
You see another figure standing beside him, though. One with silvery white hair and silvery eyes. In that moment as they're watching you.
Does she look happy?
It's hard to see their exact facial expressions, but you do see them watching you from the top side of the mountain.
They want you to succeed.
You made that so hard on me, but thank you.
Nora?
You better have been paying attention. I only had to get to what you get to once today. I only did -3 points.
Oh my goodness, it's like you're learning from your experience.
I don't even know.
Life doesn't work that way.
No.
What?
I mean, actually, it doesn't. I don't learn from. Okay.
Where we left off, this is all happening simultaneously, mind you. You feel his fingers brush against yours.
Okay.
Focus.
Alright. So, what I know about myself, I often take the burden and I try to keep things to myself. I don't like bothering others or inconveniencing them. And when I say that, I'm going to think about a time whenever I did actually share the burden with people. I relied on my teammates whenever we were fighting together. I was thinking about the camaraderie and whenever we're fighting together, how it just kind of works. Whenever we're taking down the crocodile, how it just worked. We were just clicked.
The second crocodile,
The second crocodile, yes.
not the first one.
Yes. So thinking about the camaraderie that we had together, the teamwork that we had together, and how I didn't have to do it all alone.
Make an intelligence saving throw.
Not bad.
Okay, so I'm taking notes.
I don't know.
You made that real fucking easy.
My mind just works that way. Okay. Okay. 17.
You begin feeling as his fingers brush into yours, you almost feel the warmth from his touch move through your hands, through your bones, through every muscle and fiber, up your arms, coalescing in your back, spreading through your entire body like hot dripping wax.
Okay. And then I'm going to think about kind of the camaraderie and how I want to strengthen that. And then I think about how I'm happy to help those in the group. And I think about Zoom's armor and how whenever it wasn't the armor that I was checking on, whenever I kept doing the thing, I was making sure that the spot where he was hurt was re-protected. If that makes sense.
What was the initial word?
It was I'm happy to help others. I will give my service whenever I can to my
Make a wisdom saving throw.
okay.
Or, because you're writing that line. It's a very specific line that you're writing.
I wrote I will give my service whenever I can. But then I also wrote happy to help.
And you're focusing specifically on helping or making sure that Zoom was alright in that moment. You were not only checking his armor, but you were also checking that he was okay.
Yeah, kind of if you have to do something over and over again, mindlessly. I don't know if most people have that kind of thing, but you have to go back and keep checking it just to make sure that it's okay. You have to open your bag to make sure something's in there. It's
It's almost like a habit.
yeah, it's okay, but you have to make sure it is. And I wanted to make sure he was recovered. Recovered.
Happy to help.
13 points of damage. It's okay.
I can shorten it if you want me to try.
No, you're writing so many lines right now. I'm trying to figure out what's the best.
Just surfing the waves, turn the
Oh,
lines.
this is bad.
Bad.
This. Make it another intelligence saving throw. You're stating facts.
19 plus 3 is 22.
Begin feeling that energy pull from your back, pull up your spine. You feel it drawing up into your shoulders. You feel the warmth there, that searing white hot light. Just burning right at your shoulder blades. You feel like you're right there at that cusp as
Okay.
you're focusing.
I think about Talavin and how she almost died. And I think about how I will do anything I can to prevent anything like that from happening.
It's either intelligence or charisma. You're focusing specifically on how you will do these things, or just the statement of you're going to do these things.
I see that you're choosing between charisma and intelligence, and I'm going to go in my favor and say that I will do these things.
You're willing yourself. So you're willing yourself to do these things,
myself.
not simply saying that you did do this thing.
Yes, I will in
Like
the
a
future.
charisma saving thing.
Yes.
It's making vague statements, friend.
10.
Starting to feel the energy start losing potency.
Okay. I think about how I will prevent pain in the future by
By what? By doing what?
by
Being what?
being by
Jesper clasps your hands. Remember your statement. I am. I will.
Did you not write it down? I'm saying.
I am. I will.
Yeah, I will. That's yeah. I will prevent pain in the future by fully devoting myself to becoming stronger. And then I think about the Sprite Village and how we were able to prevent that catastrophe from happening, even though it was close to not happening. But we succeeded in preventing it from being torn down.
Make a charisma saving.
Yes. Natural 20!
With that, you feel the energy
26.
begin to fade once again, leaking throughout your entire body. You feel his hands clasp against yours as you feel something rush across your entire body.
Yes!
And take a moment, you. And as you do, you can feel them.
I stretch them out, like,
They reach to the tops, near the lowest branches of the trees, which are incredibly tall.
Is this only the second time you've done this?
Yeah.
Technically?
this is the third time I brought the wings out. It's the second training session that I've had with Jasper.
With
Oh,
Jesper,
so you did
but she
get
had,
them the last
she
time.
had, she had 3.
Yeah, it took a while.
She had
Oh, I was
3
making
nights
dinner that
independence.
time, that's why I was.
She had 3
Yes.
3 nights of darkness where she had to reflect on stuff.
Yes, I did. And I reflected on a lot, but I did it!
And you look and you see the same kind of dark, black blue midnight wings emerging from your back, and you see the silver speckles, like thousands and thousands of stars glittering. And you see ends of the feathers into the silver dipped liquid mercury blades. As you look at him, you can just see him smile. His emerald green eyes kind of flaring. That wasn't so hard, was it?
Seems to be getting a little bit easier. Like the DC is dropping, but that's okay.
In a moment, he stands up and he helps you to your feet.
Whoop.
Your cousin is waiting for
Oh, we can't fly. Damn, that sucks.
Kind of. I look up and I look back at him.
you. Don't worry, I'll be there. Smiles.
I kind of take a few steps back and I just kind of like gather myself and do I want to do the Neo thing? And I like, no. I'm just gonna kind of like
Do I want to do the really cool thing?
the really cool thing.
cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the cool thing. I'm gonna kind of like
Make a
myself
strength check. Strength
down.
check.
Can I take you back?
No.
Oh, my strength is low. 13.
Wasn't a hard enough DC.
My strength is +2. I'm weak.
You bend down, you leap up, you maybe get 2-3 feet in the air. And then it takes you a moment as you balance yourself and you look up. You kind of twist and you climbing higher and higher and higher and higher. And there's a moment where you just see endless sky around you, and you look and you can almost see how your wings blend in with your surroundings. And for some reason this feels more like home than the Feywild.
Oh.
Something about the darkness of the sky, something about the light of the stars.
Oh.
The warmth of the Feywild was unmatched, but it wasn't home. As you arch your back and
Wait, what wasn't home?
Feywild.
Didn't feel like home?
Didn't feel like home. For her.
For her?
She never felt like she belonged anywhere. The Feywild was more home than the Drow City,
I'm so sorry.
but she was torn between.
But as you
I kinda
arch
like-
your back and
I do like a little backflip and dive, and then I come back up. So happy. It's like swimming in air.
within a minute you see this kind of dark blue bird, this phoenix, usually red in coloration, flying, kind of in tandem with these emerald green eyes. He flies over you for a moment, his wings churning, and flies over you. Before, with a few quick flaps, he goes in front and dives to the ground. You diving, you both kind of spiral arc before he pulls up and you pull up, flying in tandem. Make a perception check for me. Eight.
I'm caught up in the moment.
I'm caught up in the moment. You swerve down from the ground and rocket back up, and you just feel that drop in your insides, and you feel that rise again as you rush forward. Talavin, I need you to also make a perception check.
Because I don't read none.
I'm doing much better. 11. I'm chasing after Bay too hard.
Wow!
Both of you arching through the sky. I need you to make dexterity saving throws.
We're about to run into each other. Whew, that's terrible. 11.
18.
18. Nora, you notice something first. This crackling above. You don't see anything, but you hear it. And as you look up, you see something coming at you. And in that moment, you turn your entire body. You are upside down. And in that moment, both of you make eye contact.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh shit!
And merely 2-3 feet apart, as you both of you are arching. And barely glance by.
That would have been so embarrassing.
BAM! And we just
Oh! End of dream.
in their dreams we crash into the lake
As
that I
both-
never wanted to enter.
I'm glad we didn't hit each other.
Yeah, that would have been really embarrassing. They would have electrocuted the shit out of me.
Talvin, as you glance over, you still see those same eyes. As you and your cousin suddenly are now flying in tandem, so you all correct your courses. You
And
do
where's-
not see the black phoenix, and you, or the blue phoenix, and you do not see the bolt of lightning. Although you hear the crackling as if there's the threat of storm. Yet there are no clouds in the sky.
I don't question it. Like, whatever. Like,
Both of you spend time gliding along, flying, practicing.
Where's Bay?
She is very close by you.
Okay.
From time to time, she'll and dart towards the ground, striking it before leaping back in the sky.
That's so cool. She's so cool. That's why I love her. She's so cool.
You all begin feeling tired. You begin feeling everything begin to fade as the initial warnings of coming to consciousness begin creeping into your mind. And both of you, by the edge of the lake, I need you to both make dexterity saving throws.
A 7. I crash land.
I got a natural.
She definitely crash lands.
Both of you in this moment were aiming for the same narrow strip right by the lake and end up tangling yourselves and tumbling. What? Oh, yeah.
We just had such a beautiful moment.
You both get up, and as you get up, both of you notice your brains kind of a little bit damaged, and as they fade,
Like,
you into lightning, and yours into leaves.
leaves.
That's kind of cool.
Leaves of the Feywild, as they are carried away by a gust of wind. You see, soaring above you, familiar creature as it darts off. But you get the sense of seeing it again soon.
Yeah, I get to see my boy.
Talavin, make a perception check for me.
Okay.
8. You're too focused on looking at making sure that you're okay. You kind of feel and make sure nothing is broken, or as much as it can be in the ethereal plane.
Okay.
What don't I notice?
Oh,
Bay leaves.
you don't know.
The leaves.
You don't know this. You just don't know this. Both of you kind of look at each other, share this look, this warm
I
smile.
don't want to share a look with her. I want to see if Malik was watching me embarrass myself.
You look around, don't see anything.
I was kidding, but okay. I'll share a look with you, Nora.
Sure, like,
Okay.
well,
That was kind
I
of
know,
dope.
I know. That was kind of dope, and then
Till we crash
and
landed.
then we crash landed. I just kind of start laughing.
I'm gonna laugh a little too and be like, ugh. For a second there, I thought that was gonna, well, it didn't happen, so we're both lucky.
Yes.
Thinking of Bay electrocuting me for a bad landing.
You hear a distant
Wake up!
It's quite clear here. Why is it filled with lightning?
I'm gonna be like, oof.
Right, because I
You
heard it
did. You
before.
you kind of hear this. And, do we need to know what this is? Probably not. It's probably fun. It's probably absolutely nothing to worry about. Both of you, after sharing this look, find your vision darken,
See you soon.
and you're pulled back into unconsciousness before opening your eyes and realizing that in the midst of your all's dreams, you all had turned and faced one another. Hands
It's a little
clasped.
weird. That's a little weird. We're sleeping in separate beds. You
As
can sleep with Zoom.
as you open your eyes, it's like that is so
Okay.
odd.
What up?